We're going to see just how much damage Revezy can do to France's chances. France are the heavy favourites at this point. For Revezy to beat M0nkey M00n, and Juicy back to back would be one of the most impressive 1v1 feats of all time, to be honest. I mean, that's an incredibly stacked lineup. Juicy looked brilliant today. M0nkey M00n, despite not being active in the ones show match scene, has been relatively active in 1v1 ranked. If you're a watcher of apparently Jack's videos, or if you're a viewer of any other high-rated 1v1 players on YouTube, and you'll know that they do occasionally run into M0nkey M00n, and whenever you do run into M0nkey M00n, it's a tough match. Doesn't matter who you are. M0nkey M00n has the ability, he has the intelligence, he's got the mechanics to go toe-to-toe with anyone. So he could be, I think, one of the dark horses in this format. I predict M0nkey M00n to win this. Pressure's on Revezy. He's a player who has been kind of quiet recently. Not that active in the ones show match scene either. But last time he did play a show match, he took down Nowpost. So not a terrible 6-month period for him. Just a quiet one for Revezy. Both players less active than others in this tournament. Yeah, stylistically, Revezy is a great counter-puncher. He's great against players who underestimate his mechanical ability. He's great against players who overextend. And he's just a master at the positional battle, master of efficiency and precision. Those things that I've just said, they don't really help you all that much against M0nkey M00n. Is M0nkey M00n a player who overextends much in 1v1? Well, not really. Is he a player who lacks efficiency? Not really at all either. So, you know, all the advantages that Revezy usually looks to gain in 1v1 will most likely not be advantages in this matchup. I think M0nkey M00n will be able to match Revezy at all of the aspects of the game that he's strong at, and then be the better player when it comes to aerial play. M0nkey M00n is a very fast player in the air, and a very efficient player in the air, so I think that's where he's going to have the edge. If Revezy can win this, I will be mightily impressed. He's got his first goal here. Nice little turn underneath the ball there, perfect positioning. Yeah, it is a bit of a Mickey play on that one as well. Do Francisco, thanks to the brand new Prime. Cyrillic, thanks to the 2-month Prime. Melon Farmer RL, thanks to the 22-month Prime. Welcome back to the channel. You wish you could see the return to, of Ixo in the one scene? Hey, you know, Ixo might make a comeback. He's been active in threes, and one thing that we've seen a few times throughout the more recent years is that players who stay active in 3v3 at the highest level can make returns to 1v1 and get back to their former form. You know, think about Daniel. He's right back on top of the pile now after dipping down the rankings a bit. Why is that? Well, it's because he stayed on top of his game mechanically in threes, and he just needed to get back into the swing of things with a little bit of activity in ones, and then go back to being a dominant force like he used to be. Same is true of players like Ixo. You know, he's got the history of ones. He knows, I mean, all that experience that you've got from 1v1 2 years ago, 3 years ago, it's not relevant mechanically, but you know, it is still relevant positionally, and the decision making, a lot of the processes are similar to the modern game. And then when it comes to mechanics, defending and attacking, there's a lot of carryover from threes in those regards. So I think, you know, Ixo could make a comeback. But I haven't heard anything from him recently to suggest that that's something he's looking to do. What's the score? France are up 2 series to 0. I could put that on the screen, but honestly, I don't know if I need to. You know, I think updating that between series is fine. We can just focus on the score of the individual series. I didn't have an overlay made for this, a special one to show that France are leading by 2, but I thought, you know, if I put on the screen somewhere France 2-0, and then at the top it says Revezy M0nkey M00n is 0-0, I think it might just do, it might just add to the confusion rather than take away from it. Good speed by Revezy, back within a goal. M0nkey M00n didn't think Revezy was going to get on the ball that quickly. He turned to take it, and Revezy's just right back on it, and putting it in the back of the net as well. Tomorrow, for those of you who are asking, quite a lot of questions, of course, as you'd expect in day one of a tournament like this. Tomorrow, Saudi Arabia KSA's A team is going to be playing against USA's B team. We'll see Rawas, Naupo and Kalirs up against Chronic, Evo and Flitz in this format. A couple people are asking where's Lion Blaze, where's Zapatos? And those are good questions because Zapatos and Lion Blaze are definitely players that you'd expect to see in USA B team conversation these days. But both of those guys are, well, Zapatos lives in California, I believe. He's a US West player, which means it's too difficult for him to play on European servers. He doesn't get good ping to EU, so he can't play in this tournament to the same level as US East players can. And Lion Blaze is actually traveling back to US West as well tomorrow, I believe. So yeah, both of them not able to play. Luckily for the US, they have a plethora of talent, just like Saudi Arabia does. There are just so many players who can step up and perform against the best in the world. And that's what Flitz is going to try and do. He's coming in as the next player up in NA. There's a lot of players in that kind of category, though. A lot of players in NA who are capable of doing that. You know, Nick Davik's been making waves in Fears show matches, I know, as well. You got players like Cam are pretty active. You got players like Fast. But I decided to give the call to Flitz because he's got the most recent competitive experience recently, and did do pretty well, I believe, in Fear's recent ones tournament. You know, show matches are one thing, but this is probably going to play more like a tournament, despite the fact that it is just 3 or sometimes 4 or 5 show matches boxed together, I should say. Sounds a bit more clean. I think it's going to play more like a tournament in terms of how nervous players are going to be and how careful they're likely to be. It's a great save by M0nkey M00n. You know, the fact that he's knocked that into the downward bounce area really plays a factor. If he just hit that flat into the backboard, it would have been Revezy's ball to play with, but M0nkey M00n just placed it on the crossbar so that it would bounce downwards and then have a much harsher bounce on the ground for Revezy to deal with. Very good defense from M0nkey M00n. If you aren't familiar with M0nkey M00n's history of 1v1, he used to be an out-and-out shadow defense merchant. He used to just fake challenges, back off, intercept, and very rarely challenge head-on. These days he's more well-rounded, but back in the day he was one of the best shadowing defenders in the game, one of the best reactive defenders in the game, very counter-attacky style. Yeah, he's still got that as a solid, you know, baseline to his play, although he's a lot more aggressive these days than he was back then. Absolute Trash IRL, thanks to 28-month year 1. Welcome back to the channel. Appreciate you. Looks like M0nkey M00n might be thinking about going for a celebratory 9th goal here. He's really ran up the score a bit at the end there while Revezy tried to come back with a couple of risky plays. France looking impeccable form. We know what Moxie can do, but you know, coming into this tournament, the question marks were about M0nkey M00n and Juicy. What kind of level would they be at? Now, Revezy and Gom were both honorable mentions on my top 25 tier list because recently they've had wins on players inside my top 25. Notably, Revezy was able to beat Naupo and Gom was able to beat, I think, Raziers in show matches. Now, Juicy and M0nkey M00n are looking to beat, you know, 2 players I ranked top 30. I ranked top 30. I guess that's what my 5 honorable mentions would be, right? They'd be the next the next best players, so top 30. And it just shows this the level that 1v1 is at right now is higher than it's ever been. I mean, throughout history we've seen so many stacked eras of 1v1, but this is the most stacked by far. I mean, we got 30 players in a stream the other day that I'm talking about, and now we got 2 players coming in and beating 2 of them, Juicy and M0nkey M00n. So if Juicy and M0nkey M00n can keep this level up, if they can consistently play at the level they're showing so far today, France could go all the way. You know, I think most people are expecting Central EU, the Joria's Razier Zato lineup, to be the favourites on this side of the bracket, but don't count France out. These guys have played very well so far today. Just been too much for England to handle. I suppose we should have seen that coming. As soon as I put World Cup in the title of the tournament, we all knew what was going to happen in a France versus England matchup. Elias Roses, thanks for this 7-month prime. Says, thanks for doing this. Been waiting for a 1v1 World Cup since I got into Rocket League. Yeah, I've been wanting to do one as well, but you know, there sometimes isn't really an easy time to do it with players being on breaks and events happening and RLCS happening, but there was a window here. I thought, you know, now is probably as good a time as ever to do it, because I think it's pretty clear who the best players are from each country for the first time in a while. Wait, what did Juicy say? I missed that. As M0nkey just scores a banger to open up the match. Trying to spot. Did Juicy say something in the Twitch chat, or did I miss something? Where did I miss a Juicy comment? Revezy ties the game. Meanwhile, does France move on now, no matter what? No, not yet. Revezy can all kill. He can beat M0nkey and then also beat Moxie and Juicy in consecutive best of fives to carry England into the semi-finals. But, you know, one step at a time, one game at a time. M0nkey really controlled the first game that these two played. You know, as I said at the start of the first game, Revezy's generally a counter-puncher these days, very positional, grounded player. And M0nkey, it doesn't really leave that many opportunities for opponents to do that. I mean, just very, very cautious, very controlled with the way that he plays the game. And I think he just has a bit more firepower when it comes to offense these days. Why does the US and Saudi get two teams? Because they're more stacked, so I gave them both two teams. Like like I've said earlier, the main motivation of this tournament was to get as many players from my top 25 tier list, top 25 rankings rather, to have opportunities to play against each other. And I realized, well, there's 6 USA players in there, there's 6 Saudi players in there. You know, why not give them both two teams? There's 3 English players in there. Would make sense. Actually, I think I had 4. But Oski, actually no, I had 5. No, did I have 5? Yeah, I had 5 English players, but yeah, Apjack and Oski both could play. Yeah, it made sense. I was just looking down. I was like, yeah, I've got 3 English players. I got 3 Central EU players. I got 3, you know, 3 Spanish players I can easily get here. You know, it just made sense. These are the. It was the most sensible way to go about it. But like I said earlier, I do want to make. If you're wondering why I'm repeating myself occasionally, I try to. If I say something in one game. Like I mentioned this during the Moxie vs Toxic series, I'll mention it again during this series as well. Oh, what a save by Revezy. Beautiful lunge off the inside of the post to surprise M0nkey. And the open net is there as well. That was beautifully done. But yeah, I said during the Moxie Toxic series, I'll say again, I would love to do a fully traditional Rocket League 1v1 event in the future where every team is just, you know, there would be no central EU team. Chorias, Raziers and Atto would need to find players from their own nations, and then you could, you know, bring in Italy, bring in teams like Brazil, hopefully. I don't know, it would probably have to be a LAN, but that would be the dream for me, is running a Rocket League 1v1 LAN World Cup style. But absolutely, that would be like the combination of all the things I love in Rocket League: LANs, 1v1 and national competition. Yeah, this is kind of like a guinea pig tournament. We're testing out this format with the pleasure of watching some of the best players in the world compete against each other. So far, I've liked it. I've liked the. Doesn't feel like too much. Even if we had to watch another, you know, 2 matches between France and England, for me, there's enough variety. The fact that it's different matches every time, different series, different, you know, matchups, I should say, every time, makes it more interesting than watching, I think, 2 3v3 teams just play each other again and again and again, where it's the same matchup every time. Yeah, what do you guys think? How are you enjoying it so far? How are you liking the format so far? If you don't like it, tough. You've got to put up with it for the next 6 days, but hopefully you're enjoying it. Hopefully you've liked it as much as I have. Wanted to do something different. It's acceptable. I'm glad you think it's acceptable. Oh dear, Revezy's thrown away a goal lead here. And that was very careless. He just rushed. I mean, M0nkey's done well to fake him off that, but for Revezy to think that M0nkey would just lunge in that position, I think is a bit careless. So that's not really how M0nkey plays. It's not how M0nkey's played this matchup either. He's gone for clear-cut opportunities, and he's definitely out-pressured Revezy in both of the games that we've seen. But Revezy has been competitive here. M0nkey's just chasing him all the way. Revezy just manages to scramble the ball off the goal line. M0nkey rarely all in. Revezy surprised him a couple times this game with goalkeeping brilliance. Monkey Moon overall has looked like the favourite to me. And it is the aerial offense, as we expected. It looks to be the difference. Monkey Moon, deadly as ever. With the reset, just so clean and efficient. It's not the highest reset, but he got enough pace on it to get over the top of Revezy's pre-jump. You dream about the next Fusion? Yeah, of course. There's so many formats I'd love to bring back. Fusion was a great one. Gamers 8 was a nice little twist on that. Good read by Revezy. Tried to control this initial shot. He had the pseudo floor pinch there, but followed up really well. I think he knew immediately that that was hitting the bar and coming down. He's there for the finishing touch. Monkey Moon surprises Revezy with an early move on the ball. It's these kind of moves that Monkey Moon didn't used to make in his game. That was very careless again by Revezy. He wanted to get the ball and the boost to himself in that position. He tried to pop the ball up in the air, but he hit it more sideways and it just bounces right back towards Monkey Moon, who now with a kickoff win puts himself in an extremely good position. Will he just go for this? Oh yes, he will. Well, I expected more defensively from Revezy. Monkey Moon didn't really have to move that ball too much, but Revezy still lets it go by him. I mean, Monkey Moon forced a pre-jump. Maybe Revezy expecting him to shoot that one to the other top corner based on the way that he was traveling, but just a small angle change was all it took. Now Monkey Moon bumps Revezy off the ball. Bit of a careless open net miss has given Revezy a chance to come back here. Monkey Moon will have a bit of defending to do, but once again slots in that early challenge. He's just had the openings to do that. He's been confident in his decision making. This is the new Monkey Moon in ones. He's not just going to sit in net and let you come at him like he used to. When he's got a chance to go, he goes. Now he confirms the win with a demo in Revezy. It's 2-0. Monkey Moon, impressive as ever, trying to send England out with a 1-2-3 combination. I'll probably have to put together an FAQ for this tournament. We are getting a lot of the same questions, but I don't really mind repeating every now and again. I'll probably try and keep what I talk about during one series as free from repetition as possible. But I did say earlier, I'll say again, that the reason both the Saudi Arabia teams and both the USA teams are in the same side of the bracket is because it's to try and minimize the amount of high ping matchups we get. They're going to be playing EU server, which is fair ping for USA versus KSA. However, the prize pool is going to be winner takes all, so even if the two best teams, a lot of you I think are correctly speculating that the two best teams might be on that USA-KSA side of the bracket. I expect the USA and KSA A teams to look like the best teams in this tournament. Although, you know, France are looking really good. I think Central EU is going to look really good as well. It's not like the grand final is expected to be a blowout, but even if the two best teams are on the same side of the bracket, only one team is taking prize money from this tournament anyway, so the team that finished third won't be salty about the team that finished second being ahead of them, I hope at least. Yeah, if this goes well, if this format ends up like being a hit all the way through, then I could see it making a return in a more formal tournament, non-last minute. Oh, has Revezy run this one away from him? Looks like he has. He had an open net there. I think he's going to have to say goodbye to that scoring opportunity. Play for possession instead. That's a possession that he does have full control of. Boost is his as well. Opens up a bit of an angle for the flick. Delays it. Wade dashes infield. Monkey Moon's there to block. The roster for the KSA B team will probably be announced tonight or tomorrow. They play on Sunday against the USA A team. Right now, the only confirmed player for the KSA B team is Dark. He'll be joined by some more young talent from KSA, most likely. They'll be big underdogs against USA, but those will be hype matches regardless. Dark against one of AJ, First Killer, or Daniel. A couple of other young mechanical goats from KSA matching up against the other two. I expect a sweep in USA's favour, but you never know. M0nkey up by 1 again. It's been such a control back and forth between these two. Hardly an overcommit to be seen. M0nkey just has the edge in pace. I think he has the edge in aggression, and he has the edge in the challenge game as well. He's just had more opportunities to stick a wheel in and take the ball for himself. That's why I said, you know, stylistically I think it would have been better for Revezy to face someone else. I think Revezy would have probably done better against Juicy, who's a little bit more all-in, although Juicy was very calculated actually. I thought Juicy played a brilliant series against Gom. He played very well against Gom. But yeah, M0nkey is a bit of a nightmare to play against. You can ask any of the top players, ask any of the top tier 1v1 YouTubers what it's like to play against this guy. He is just so tough to beat, such a solid player, and we all know about M0nkey tournament prowess. He is dispatching Revezy right now like a speed run. I mean, it literally is one of the fastest ways to beat someone. Keeping the score low, keeping a clean sheet. Just enough on that clear from M0nkey. It was critical that he knocked that over Revezy's head and not in front of him. Can M0nkey make it 3 off the inside of the post? Still not over yet for Revezy. He's scoreless, but that does still give him plenty time to come back. Just 1 goal and a kickoff play is all he needs, and in ones, that really is not much. Well, M0nkey makes it 3 now. Revezy tries to sneak in a reverse challenge on a bouncing ball. I think that's unwise against a player like M0nkey. When the ball's bouncing up in the air like this, M0nkey can see you. So you're really not sneaking in a reverse challenge, you're just blatantly reversing towards the ball. M0nkey is ball carrying, it'd be a different story. I think the reverse challenge could work, but that was a desperate move for Revezy. A very high risk, low reward play. Now he really is running out of options. Ceiling pinch from distance, speculative at best. M0nkey just slinging in more and more shots to waste some more time off the clock. Can he keep a clean sheet here? This is such a dominant performance from M0nkey. You know, I thought France were the slight favourites coming into today, but if I'd known how impressive Juicy and M0nkey were going to look, I would have said they're the heavy favourites. These guys have all shown up and done exactly what they had to do. 3-1 win for Juicy over Gom, and we're on the way to a 3-0 win for M0nkey over Revezy. England just bottling it once again in the World Cup. What is the equivalent that's happened here? What exactly has gone on? Who's England's star player in football? I don't even know. I don't care enough about the English football team to know who their star player is. I only care when they're losing. But when they're actually playing, I don't know who's their best player. Because what's happened here is that their best player has not been available, and France's depth of talent is just too much. Kane is Apjack. Harry Kane. Who's Apjack? A lovely shot there by M0nkey. Not the stylish pogo into air dribble or pogo into flip reset that we've seen from Dark these days, but still a good effort. We've seen a couple of those actually. Juicy pulled one off against Gom earlier. Now M0nkey just like landing intentionally badly to bounce the ball before the challenge. Kane because he misses open nets. Yeah, I guess that is a pretty good analogy. Kane, yeah, maybe Apjack is Kane because he skies football. Kane skies football's version of open nets. Penalty. GG's. France advance. 3-0. England out in the World Cup quarterfinals 2 times in the same month. Something not many countries have been able to pull off